that just took a toll on me that was like hard to sustain.
What's up, everyone? Shakiel Mahjouri here for CBS Sports, and you know who this is. He is the WWE King of the Ring, longest reigning Intercontinental Champion in WWE history, and may soon be the World Heavyweight Champion as he takes on Damian Priest at SummerSlam with some of the hardest chops I've ever seen, and Finn Balor will probably agree. Gunther, how's it going?
I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well. A little sick, a little under the weather, but after seeing the photos of Finn Balor's chest after your match on Monday Night Raw, it could be worse, so I'm not going to complain.
That's all
Um,
right. I don't feel much different than him.
I am curious, yeah,
Wrong.
you guys, I mean, goodness, you really took it to each other on Monday. I was just watching it back. Is there a chop that Gunther has ever felt bad about delivering in his wrestling career?
And no, not really. It's part of it.
Has anyone ever expressed either maybe beforehand some like hesitancy about taking some of those chops, or does everyone kind of understand at this point what the deal
Uh,
is?
Jokingly maybe, but like I said, it's just a hard, hard truth of life that when you're in a wrestling match, it gets physical.
This is true. This is true, and I think the fans have been very much enjoying it. Last thing on the chopping, because we have a lot of things, including SummerSlam, to get to. Could I very quickly, in your opinion, get like the Mount Rushmore of choppers in pro wrestling history? Who are four people, yourself included, if you'd like, who do it the best?
Uh, Mount Rushmore is four, right?
hmm I'm
Kenta,
Canadian, but I think that's right. Yeah.
Kenta Kobashi, say myself. Um, who else? I mean, Ric Flair was very known for his chops. Not very effective though. He spammed them a lot.
It's, the woos
um,
put it over.
and then I think you know what? I put in Hashimoto. He didn't have the knife edge chop to the chest, but the one to the neck. Wow,
Very
I
nice.
always enjoyed that.
There's like put together a good montage off that. We're coming on. We're heading into this match with Damian Priest. It's a opportunity people have expected to see you receive for a long time. You've already accomplished so many incredible things. Triple H and the W, even prior to Triple H, but especially in these last like year or so, I feel like the company has put a lot of faith in you, faith in making the Intercontinental Championship prestigious, faith in making the King of the Ring matter again. What will it mean for you to become World Heavyweight Champion if it comes to fruition on Saturday?
I mean, obviously the biggest achievement of my career. I think that's quite obvious. It's the World Heavyweight Championship, the biggest prize there is to win right now in this sport. Yeah, that would mean a huge accomplishment, but also a big responsibility and a big challenge. But that's what I'm here for. Like, I want to be in the midst with the best, and I want to be in the ring with all of them, and yeah, prove myself in that regard.
Obviously, I don't know what will happen come SummerSlam, but I have a hunch that one way or another we will see you in a very important role at Bash in Berlin, the first one of its kind. And if I'm not mistaken, like a 7 or an 8 hour drive from your hometown of Vienna.
Yes.
What would it mean to you to be able to bring the World Heavyweight Championship so close to your home? Because it seems like a very unique opportunity that we haven't seen in the WWE.
Yeah, obviously it would be fantastic. I mean, the thing is, like, I lived in Germany for a good amount of my adult life, so I consider that somewhat home. Not Berlin. I lived on the other side of the country, but I wrestled in Berlin in very small nightclubs before. And in general, whenever we go on this Germany live event tours now, in every city we go to, uh, yeah, we've been in the ring in the smaller venue in that city. So it's always nice to like come back now in the big way with WWE. Um, and yeah, it was it's the truth. Like, when, Kaiser and I, when we were in WXW, and we were really trying to commit to that and set everything else in life aside and make that big and get them going. And we ran, I don't know, like 60, 70 shows a month. And after every show, the big speech would always be, we work hard so professional wrestling in Germany becomes accessible again. Like
Mm.
there's make it something that there's a scene again and people can enjoy it and that reliably provides entertainment for them. And obviously, I'm not the only reason why that event happens, but I want to claim for myself that me being in WWE right now is a factor why they really wanted to do the PLE there. And I think that's it's a very nice accomplishment.
What do you think you and Kaiser would have said at how would you have reacted at the time if someone were to tell you, hey, um, there's going to be a debut PLE in Germany and Gunther might be the man holding the world heavyweight title when that show comes to town?
I mean, yeah, highly unrealistic, right? The chances weren't that high, and they weren't for most part of my career. They weren't because WWE was not really didn't open up in a way they have over the last years to the independent circuit, and that just changed a lot when they started to signing all those guys from the indies and being really open to all the wrestling scenes worldwide, basically. Um, but yeah, it's been a long ride to get here. So now I'm ready to enjoy it.
Is it a coincidence or intentional that the backdrop of this interview is as white as like the Imperium screen?
No, that's we just moved, so that's the office, and the pictures are not up yet. So that's why the wall is white.
Well, blank canvas for decorating. Hey, when you recently matched up with Ilya Dragunov, I saw this photo go around of one of your first matches. I think it was 9 years ago, probably 9 years prior that you guys wrestled in WXW. Now it's kind of funny looking back on these photos, but can you tell me a little bit about the Big Daddy moniker?
I can actually because I wanted to have a new name as a baby face, and I remember that on my first trip to United States, um, we all went over to Philly
Mhm.
to with the promotion that was like cooperating with WXW, and they were doing some shows. And somewhere on that trip, we all wanted to get into a cab, but there was one seat, uh, like we were one person too many, and the taxi driver tried to like play Tetris with us and get us in the right spot. And he said to me like, "Come over here, Big Daddy." And then I thought, you know what? Why not? Let's take that. That sounds charming.
I like it. That's so funny. It's crazy where these ideas come from. Um, you've mentioned in the past that for a long time you were not interested in moving to the US because you were waiting for the right time, the time that would sort of benefit you the most and separate you from the influx of other European professional wrestlers making that transaction. I'm sure you've talked about it in the past. I just couldn't find it. What was the eureka moment? What was the moment where you said, now is the time?
Um, yeah, I think I outgrew NXT UK. Like I've done everything there that I could do. I wrestled everybody, and I maxed out there, I would say. And it was just for me, like, okay, what do you want to do next? And um, yeah, I always wanted to stay with WWE. That's like the place I wanted to work with. I like how the companies run, how it's organized. It's the best place to work in our business. And I just and I always knew it would come at some point. I have to make the step now and like let them know, okay, I'm open to move over now and fully dive into it.
I remember watching interviews with you when you were the Intercontinental Champion, and you'd be asked a lot about what that record reign meant to you. And you sort of reminded people like I'm still very much living it. Now looking, what I like about the Intercontinental title is like I feel like professional wrestlers talk about that title with an admiration that almost rivals the world title. It was that workhorse title. It was the one that many future main eventers carried. There was a period of time in the WWE where it wasn't maybe valued or appreciated as much. Does the significance of being the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion dawn on you? Because I feel like now people are going to look at that title again the way maybe you looked at it when you were young.
Um, I mean, first of all, yes, I did my part, but it's also on the matchmaker to
Mm.
decide to present it in a prominent way. And I think that changed when I became champion as well. Um, and yeah, since then, since I lost it, I think Sammy is defending it on every PLE since then. I mean, Sammy is a top talent, so that's no surprise. But if I've done my bit to elevate it a little bit and make that the prize to fight for everybody that makes his first step into the main roster, that needs to prove himself, that needs to, yeah, that wants to fight for something. Yeah, then I'm very happy with that, and it's definitely a record that will, yeah, stick with the history books for a little bit. Um, but yeah, all of that stuff is always very hard to. It's always more exciting for everybody around than for the
Yeah.
person executing it, because I'm not here to enjoy it and bathe in it. I'm here to, like I said, execute it and, yeah, entertain everybody else with it. So sometimes I think that's in general a struggle of a professional wrestler or performer to zoom out and see it from the outside for what it is. Um, but yeah, but I'm obviously very proud of that reign and that achievement.
It's been such a dominant stretch for you ever since, even before, but especially once you made it onto the main roster. But you said, it's been a very long road here. As we begin to wrap up, at what point in your career were you feeling the lowest? Were you sort of questioning yourself and this career choice of yours the most? Because it's something I think basically every professional wrestler deals with at some point.
Um, I would say it must have been around 2013 or 14, I think, because at that point I was just wrestling on the weekends. I still had a day job and I was working uh, only night shifts for I think it was almost 2 years or something like that, and then wrestled on the weekends, and that just took a toll on me that was like hard to, yeah, sustain. And my goal was always like to make a living of professional wrestling, and that was not really in sight. So I was like, you know what, maybe call it quits and just focus on the career in your real job. Um, but then I spoke to basically WXW and I said, hey guys, either we run a wrestling school now, so or I run that wrestling school for you, and that's my job, or I think I call it quits.
Mm.
And they were happy to do that. They wanted to do a wrestling school, and then they employed me basically. And since then, yeah, professional wrestling is my main profession.
10 years going strong full time. I love to hear that. You were in a number of factions on the independent scene, guys like Malakai Black, Timothy Thatcher, Sammy Callahan, Jonathan Gresham, the list goes on. I am curious, if you could have one former ally come into the WWE fold, who do you think would be a good fit here?
A former ally
Mm-hmm.
that, yeah, Tim Thatcher. That's an easy one.
I stumbled across a photo. Your hair is looking very nice right now, but there was a period of time in Japan where you had that thing dyed a very particular color of green. Can you tell me
Yeah.
what went into that decision and how you felt about it at the time?
Um, well, I just had to swallow the pill. Because the thing was I just started, I was just training for a few months, and a fellow Austrian wrestler named Bambi Killer was working for Zero One in Japan back then. He would do a few tours a year for them, and he said, "Hey, I can get you opportunity to go over there for 3 months and train in the dojo. And I was like, yeah, of course I do that. I want to do that. And then shortly before I went, they were like, hey, if you we have a gimmick for you. If you do that, you can wrestle like 10 to 12 matches a month. And the gimmick was that of a quite popular, like, yeah, almost, it's not like, maybe it's a comic too or something, but more like, I would say, like a kids show like Teletubbies, where it's like people in costumes. And that figure was that Gacha Ping figure. I think they had some sort of, like, they used it for like charity purposes. I
Mm.
don't recall. Yeah, obviously that wasn't my ideal choice of presentation, but uh, it was a pretty easy choice to just do that because I definitely did not want to miss out on whatever it was, 30, 40 matches in Japan in my second year in wrestling. And that time was very, even looking back now, that time was one of the most important time frames in my career. And yeah, we all have to do something that's a bit uncomfortable at some point.
Yes. Okay. So, I mean, invaluable experience, but I'm guessing we're not going to see green-haired Gunther anytime soon in the
No, I don't think so.
WWE. All right. Well, ahead of SummerSlam, Gunther, I'd like to leave you with the last word. So very quickly for me, guys, thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe, tap the bell, thumbs up. Full feature with Gunther at cbssports.com ahead of SummerSlam this weekend and the World Heavyweight title match against Damian Priest. Let us know who's on your Mount Rushmore of hardest choppers in pro wrestling history. Gunther, if there's anything you would like to let the people know, the floor is yours, my friend.
Yeah, tune in for SummerSlam because that will be the day that will forever be remembered as the day where the Ring General saved professional wrestling and the World Heavyweight Championship.